The upper river Tana and Sondu Miriu river catchments are some of the country's critical ecosystems that sustain river Tana and Sondu Miriu river respectively, on which the Seven Forks Dam, the Sondu Miriu Hydro Dam and Sangoro Power Plant that produce most of the country's hydroelectric power are situated. It is for this reason that the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum, through the Kenya Energy and Environment Social Responsibility Program Fund, also referred to as the KEEP Fund, started a project to rehabilitate degraded parts of these water catchments. KEEP Fund was established through a government legal notice number LN 188/2007.
This program is part of what we call Kenya Energy and Environment Social Responsibility Program, which was started way back in 2010-2011. The purpose of that program was for the energy sector to be able to contribute to the preservation of the environment, particularly in areas where we draw our energy from. And part of the activities which we have been able to do of late is the protection of water catchment in the areas where we have hydropower for electricity generation, mainly the upper Tana and also the Sondu. The idea is to be able to plant trees in the catchment area, first for protection of that catchment and also to be able to prevent siltation. We also know when we have trees, then we increase the possibilities of rain. So we are like getting more water to be able to go to our hydropower.
Since the year 2013 to date, more than 1,000 hectares of degraded forest areas in the catchments of the two rivers have been rehabilitated using this fund due to the role they play in sustaining water flow for the said rivers.
I want to particularly single out the Ministry of Energy for their boldness in getting involved in rehabilitation of particularly degraded sites. Rehabilitation is not an easy exercise. It is not a one-off thing that you come and plant and then go. We have been in each one of those sites. We have been there for not less than 3 years. That takes time and resources and commitment.
The launch of the Rehabilitation of Degraded Water Catchments program was based on the need to restore degraded forest areas in order to provide enough water for the production of hydroelectric power, as well as reduce siltation in these rivers, which eventually ends up in the hydro dams.
The aim was to rehabilitate these sites with a view to, one, return our water catchment areas to their original state so that they can be able to produce the much needed resources, including water, which can be used for power generation.
The other objective was to create employment for the communities adjacent to the forests that help in conservation of these water catchment areas.
We want to continue creating jobs for the youth, for the women, for the men, and a lot has gone into that. They are the ones who do who dig the holes. They are the ones who do spot weeding for the seedlings. They are the ones who do the beating up. They are the ones who do the protection of the sites, and they are paid for that.
We have seen changes in our community because community have changed the attitude of believing that the trees are there to be cut. The seedlings that they were planted in these areas were brought from a community, and so they got some wages, and at the end of the day they have something to eat.
Kabla ya tuungane na Kenya Forest Service na Minister of Energy, sisi kama CMBU tulikuwa ni watu ambaye hoi hatukuwa na chochote kile. Wengine wetu kwa wakati huu, kwa sababu tumepata vyakula katika mboma, tumefaidika kwa njia hii na ile ingine, tuko na uwezo sasa. Wengine wetu tunasomesha watoto, wanapata masomo, vile hata chakula ya nyumbani sasa inatosha. Kuna wengine hata hawakuwa na sehemu za kuishi kama vile shamba, lakini sasa ni kama wamenunua pointi zao 0 point something, na mtu ananunua kashamba pahali anaenda kuishi pale. Kwa hivyo tuko sawasawa kabisa.
Food security has also been enhanced since rehabilitation in some of the sites, including Sino in Nakuru County and Beu 1A and Kaunga Katekene in Meru County, has been through a program that was allowing farmers to grow food crops as they cared for the planted indigenous tree seedlings for a period of between 2 and 3 years.
We faced a challenge of the invasive species of Landana camara, which we discovered that after every 3 weeks, we were doing a maintenance through weeding. That gave us a challenge, but we were able to address this challenge through allocating small pieces of land of half an acre to Community Forest Association members through a form of PERIS that we call Free Establishment and Livelihood Improvement Scheme. So much of the success is advanced to that method where communities who were allocated piece of land were maintaining these trees through weeding them. This weeding was at least 4 times in a year. That's why we have achieved great success of over 95% survival in this area.
The first phase was started in 2012 and was successfully completed in 2015. A new phase of the project has since been started every year since 2013. For a site to be considered a success, survival rate of the planted seedlings must be at least 80%. As part of the Bond Challenge, Kenya committed to rehabilitate 5.1 million hectares of degraded forest areas in the country.
We have committed to rehabilitate 5.1 million degraded areas across the country. These areas includes where we are today, and this is to be done by the year 2030, and therefore this is to tell Kenyans that that initiative has already started through the sites that we are seeing here today.
Since the program started, a total of 1,100 hectares has been rehabilitated in more than 10 sites in various counties across the country. The program sought through a competitive bidding process to engage contractors for each project site. These were expected to work with the existing local CFAs in the execution of the rehabilitation activities.
We identify the sites together, mostly the sites which are in our catchments of the hydro dam, like here, as you can see behind me, we have the Sondu Miriu hydro dam, and Koguta Hill is part of the catchment of Sondu Miriu. So after identifying the site with KFS, we started the documentation. After the documentation, now we tender in the open national tender, in the newspapers, in our e-procurement portal, and we invite as many contractors as possible.
My name is Miriu from Camfor Company Limited, one of the contractors working with the Ministry of Energy and the Kenya Forest Service in rehabilitating the water towers of the Aberdares and Mount Kenya. What we do is that we start by mobilizing the community to understand the importance of the forest where they live next to. And then after that, we start by clearing the forest area that is being rehabilitated.
Okay. Oh, my name is Mokami Gatonye. I work for Principal Styles Limited. We were contracted by MOEP, Ministry of Energy and Petroleum, to plant trees to reforestate part of Nyambane Hills. It is 41.9 hectares, and we were clearing Tana, Camara, and uprooting the shrubs, pitting, which is digging the holes, and planting a total of 67,400 seedlings.
So far, the project has been implemented in 5 different phases, where in the first phase, 255 hectares were rehabilitated in the following forests: Zuti in Nyeri County, Castle in Kirinyaga County, Mbeu 1A and Mushiene in Meru County. Phase 2 involved Njukeine in Embu County, Chuka in Tharaka Nithi County, Hombe and Zuti in Nyeri County, and Kaunga Katekene in Meru County, where a total of 311 hectares were rehabilitated.
The key tributary of River Tana comes from Mount Kenya, in fact where we are. Therefore, this is a project that is really helping in conservation of these two water towers, and it's going a long way to ensuring that we increase the volume of water in these two rivers, and therefore sustainable production of hydropower for the economic development of this country. Mainly we are planting original indigenous tree species because we believe these are the species that need to be in these areas for continued forest conservation.
A total of 299 hectares were rehabilitated during Phase 3 of the project in Saino in Nakuru County, Ndoinet in Kericho County, and Chepalungu in Bomet County, which are water catchment areas for Sondu Miriu River.
Where we are is Saino Forest, which is part of the larger Mao complex, and currently Saino Forest covers about 250 hectares, and most of it had been degraded mainly through overgrazing. This area where we are, some 3 years back, there was totally nothing apart from just open ground, open field, and through collaboration between Kenya Forest Service and Ministry of Energy, we have been able to contract a private organization which has been able to rehabilitate 56.5 hectares, and our work mainly as KFS was basically supervision, ensuring that the right species of trees are planted, the right husbandry is undertaken, and the contractor, the Minister of Energy, all of us have collaborated, and that is why you can see all this success behind us.
Phase 4 consisted of Koguta's site in Kisumu County and part of Nyambene Hills in Meru County, where 61 hectares of degraded water catchments have been rehabilitated. In addition, Phase 5 covers Enosupukia Forest in Narok County with 150 hectares.
We are in a forest called Koguta Forest. Koguta Forest is a gazetted forest, and it is 441 hectares. And it is comprised of vegetations which are glass and shrubs, and most of it is bare. The forest cover of this region is below 1%, and now when this project will succeed, it means this project will act as a role model or a demonstration plot for the people around this area to come and learn that even if the areas can be difficult, they can be afforested.
Various benefits are expected from the program. Rehabilitation of the degraded forest areas, for example, will mean more rainfall and enhanced water flow to the dams and less siltation carried in the rivers. This is expected to increase electricity generation, a necessary step towards providing the much-needed power to households and industries.
We have seen in some instances whereby we have been experiencing some power blackouts, some rationing, due to the scarcity of water. And as you can see, the community around this place have done a real good work, and we're happy about it. And we're also urging all the other areas whereby people may collaborate. They can also join these efforts so that we can make our Meru and Kenya a greater place than it is.
I'm Oscar Onyango, the Assistant Civil Engineer of VSH Hydro, and I'm in charge of the Gura Hydro Power Project. We are contracted as a VS Hydro company to build this hydropower project for the KTDA, which will be generating 5.6 megawatts. As you can see, the catchment area of the Gura River, which we are depending on, is 135 square kilometers. It will be generating a power of 5.6 megawatts. And Some of the things which have made this possible is the good conservation of Gura River, which have provided the clean water. So in terms of purification, we don't have to deal with the chemicals in the river. We just concentrate on settling the physical particles, which may reduce the cost of the construction. The Gura project is supposed to benefit 4 factories, and some of the powers will be sold to Kenya Power. So the project as per now is almost 90% complete, and we expect to benefit the community because it's a clean energy, and it is recyclable because the water we use here we will still discharge it backstream for the continuous use of the project. As per now, there is no major challenges because of the good maintenance of the forest. We just have the water here. We are supposed to use 4.5 cubic meters, which will be enough to sustain the flow for the project. We have taken into account the environmental flow. At the off-peak level, we have 2 turbines. When the water are down, we use 1 turbine and close the other one. So I think with this energy, which is generated from this project, it will be beneficial, since it is water which will be used to provide energy to help the farmers around. And since the water is not polluted, the energy will be cheap and reliable, since this is a permanent river with no much pollution.
Some of the challenges encountered during the implementation of the project have been the management of invasive species like the Lantana camara and Mauritius thorn, which had invaded some of the sites and choked the growth of trees. Grazing was also a challenge in some of the areas where residents practice animal farming. Farmers were, however, sensitized on appropriate animal husbandry methods, which include the cut and carry method, where farmers cut the grass in the forest for feeding their livestock back at home.
Serikali tunashukuru kwa hii muradi sana. Amesaidia sisi kwa hii nyasi sana. Hii nyasi ni mzuri, ng'ombe akikula maziwa anatoka mingi.
The project has been hailed as a success due to the unique methodology used in the rehabilitation of degraded indigenous forest areas.
As you are aware, we used to have about 2% of the forest cover. Right now we are talking of 7%. It is out of these efforts and the assistance of other agencies like the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum. And with this, we do look forward to opening up other sites. This success here is a good encourager. The challenges that we had have enabled us to run what we need to do to get better results with this kind of input.
The Ministry of Energy and Petroleum is looking forward to replicating this method in the rehabilitation of other river catchments to enhance hydroelectricity generation in the country.
So we are looking forward as Kenya Forest Service to a wider collaboration, not only with the Ministry of Energy, not only with the community, but all the other private sectors who want this country to be green, to partner with us and ensure that all our forests which have been degraded are rehabilitated.
We are seeing the benefits and also our goals being met through these projects because we are taking care of the water catchment areas. As you are all aware, the water which we require in the country is essentially for our energy production. All the hydros require water. We are also looking at the energy conservation, which is coming in handy as we rehabilitate our forests. We are also looking forward to doing the same works in other degraded areas in the forests in Kenya. And with the collaboration with Kenya Forest Services, we know we are going to do a good job, and this for the benefit of the country at large. Thank you.